Aquarius workshop. The truth about being happy. I start with a quote from Pathwork Lecture 150 with the title Self-liking, Condition for Universal State of Bliss. And the quote is as follows. The entire universe is constituted in such a way that each created individual is capable of being in a constant state of bliss. Each created individual is made in such a way that this is not only a theoretical possibility, but it is man's natural state of being. It is a natural law. When an individual is not in a state of bliss, it is an unnatural, disturbed condition. End of quote from Pathwork Lecture 150. Being in a state of bliss is our birthright, and every human being longs for happiness. The truly healthy soul has the inner will to be in a state of bliss and gives itself the necessary space to have fun. To the extent that we courageously fulfill our duty on this path, become ourselves, and love ourselves, we are in a state of bliss. Unfortunately, we have misconceptions about happiness, lack the will and courage to be happy, and even fear it. We believe that being in a state of bliss is selfish, that we and others must first be perfect, that happiness lies only in the future, that an authority must give us permission, that it depends on the outside world, and that we feel that we are too guilty to be happy to earn. If we follow the spiritual laws, are true to ourselves and give the best of ourselves to this path of development to Aquarius man, then we will experience self-respect and happiness. The more self-respect we have, the less we crave respect, approval, affection, and love from others. As a result of self-respect, the need to become overly dependent or to demonstrate a false independence because we deny and rebel against our dependence disappears. Knowing that self-respect is far more important than anything anyone else can ever give us is a great step toward happiness, balance, and harmony. In this workshop, we will explore the truth about being happy through 3 themes from the Pathwork Lectures with a loving curiosity. The first theme, letting go of omnipotent rulership. The inner child in every human being has a primitive image of happiness, and that is a desire from omnipotent rulership and unquestioned obedience. Failing to do so, we hide this desire and strive for perfection in order to gain approval and become happy. Then a double frustration arises. First, the desire for omnipotent rulership in order to be happy fails, and second, the desire of attaining perfection also fails. We are invited to let go of the immature idea of happiness, of getting our way in everything. The next quote stems from Pathwork Lecture 58. The wrong concept of happiness. I can only be happy if things go my way. The mature concept of happiness in its highest unfoldment is, I am independent of outer circumstances, regardless of what they are. I can be happy under any circumstances because even the disadvantages or unpleasant events will have a purpose, bringing me that much nearer to complete freedom and infinite happiness. Thus, even difficult times will have the power to make you happy. End of quote from Pathwork Lecture 58. The second theme, loving yourself. As long as we are still alienated from ourselves, we do not love ourselves, because we are untrue to ourselves in the hope of gaining approval from others. Also, we often hate ourselves for the wrong reason and torture ourselves with unhealthy guilt and excessive perfectionism, because we don't want to acknowledge our selfishness. However, if we fully face it here and now and don't run away from it, we will find joy, peace, balance, and happiness. The next quote stems from Pathwork Lecture 150. The state man consciously or unconsciously seeks depends directly on his self-liking, his self-esteem. The equation always comes out even. To the exact degree self-liking exists, to that degree happiness exists. Lack of self-liking prevents the psyche from experiencing its natural state. It induces an alienation from the universal forces and sets up a screen or a film, preventing the individual from becoming part of the cosmic forces, which are bliss. End of quote from Pathwork Lecture 150. The third and last theme, activating your divine power. The more we are willing to grow through our developmental process and be in truth, the more happiness we will experience. Being unhappy requires less strength from us than being happy, because the latter requires a great effort from us. Without the help and guidance of our inner divine powers, we cannot muster that effort. So, not only in times of misfortune, but also when we are happy, we should tune in to the universal forces. The last quote stands for Pathwork Lecture 170. You cannot expand and utilize your own inherent potentials unless you are in a state of joyousness. Expansion and bliss belong together, as stagnation and frustration belong together. Expansion is a self-activating process that combines the masculine and feminine principles in perfect harmony. If bliss and therefore expansion are feared, fear of growth and change must also exist. So must there be fear of man's own inherent powers. End of quote from Pathwork Lecture 170. I wish you peace and all the best. Thank you.